You have gone through life experiencing stories that you unknowingly have been attaching pieces of your identity to. And as a business owner, as a woman, as a high value expert woman at that, it's time for you to do the work to heal through those stories that you've been dragging along with you that could be impacting your impact and your income. These are stories that have made you question your impact, stories that have made you question your value, stories that have made you doubt what it is that you desire and what you truly deserve. Stories that have made you doubt your power, causing you to be in this space where you are constantly wondering, is this even for me? Should I even be doing this? You've gone through life experiencing stories that have become a part of your identity, and you might not even have known it. It's been causing you to be in this space where you're questioning your value, you're questioning your impact, you are doubting your power, and all of it has you feeling like an imposter when you go to elevate your visibility, your money, your impact, your brand, all the things in life and business and everything in between. But what if those stories aren't true? What if stepping into the true version of who you're here to be, that high value expert woman that you are, what if stepping into her isn't about you changing who you are, but instead it's actually about reclaiming the version of you who you've always meant to be? And a part of that are these stories that we've held on to that have made us believe certain things about ourselves that have been completely false, whether it was a parent, whether it was a past partner, whether it was a family member, whether it was a complete stranger on the internet, whether it was someone that you know or you don't know. You've taken these stories and you've made them a part of your identity, and you've made them cause you to believe certain things about yourself that you've held on to, that are causing you to think that in some way you're not worthy of what's next for you. And in this conversation with my good girlfriend, Justina Ford, who is an amazing mindset coach, she's actually the mindset coach in one of the joint programs that her and I and our friend Alicia Ford have, where we work with you on mindset, messaging, and marketing all together. She is one part of the M3 community, and I'm a second part, Alicia's a third part. And we're having this conversation that I'm about to pop in right now, where we're talking about stories and specifically how they connect to your identity. If you didn't see, I actually posted a video last week where we talked about bigger visibility, bringing deeper stories, and how you need to break through those as you're elevating into that six-figure brand that you truly desire and multiple six figures plus. And so today, this video, I wanted it to go deeper into the identity around being a high value expert woman. This is a term that I use a lot inside of my program, where I'm helping you elevate your messaging to position that high value expertise. But if you are not working on the stories that you have built up inside of you, even if you don't know it, that's causing you to doubt what you should be charging for the work that you do, what you should be commanding, how you should be showing up, what you should be allowing yourself to receive in this business, then all of the strategy work means nothing. So again, we need to have the mindset work and we need to have the strategy work. And together, they help you truly embody your high value expert woman energy, as I like to call it. I have a whole training on this. But go ahead and watch this video with Justina and I, where we talk about this high value expert woman energy and the identity work that you need to shift through, specifically around any stories that you're holding on to, and the power of shifting your perception and how you see yourself, which will then transform how you see what you are allowing yourself to experience. The prosperity, the abundance, all the next level things you desire in your bigger brand and business are available for you. And you just need to break through stories that make you feel like in some way you're not worthy of them. So go ahead and check out this conversation now. You talked about the perception of the story. So a person can have a story happening and they can see it as, oh my God, I failed at this thing. I was horrible. It was so bad. Justina, what I hear you saying is you see it in a different light, right? You see other elements of it, and then I could see other elements of it, but the person has to see it in a certain way. The reason I'm talking about perception is I want to bring in the word identity. So when a woman is up leveling, what I often find, some of those stories that they haven't healed and processed through, a lot of times they're seeing it as, I was a failure at that. I did bad at that. I was wrong at that. I can relate to that. I think of things as I was scaling. There are certain investments that you make. Y'all, I have made like 30K to 50K investments into coaching programs where I'm like, today I wouldn't invest in that, but I was a very disempowered person in making those investments. Now that's back in like 2017, but still, I think about things like that where I feel like, oh my God, I did bad with my money. How could I do that? Like, and I would internalize that. And it took me time to like get through that. And so I'm just going to use that as an example of, if I'm looking at that story as like, I'm a failure, woe is me, this, and that. So that's my perception. Whereas where I then got to through getting support was, and Justina definitely was a part of that support. I got to this space of like, wait a minute. because of the way that I was served in those experiences, it transformed how I wanted to serve in my business. So I'm a very like intimate, like a personalization type of person. I like to love on stuff. Justina be like, here, you ain't got to give them all 10, just give them 2. Just let them do the 2. And so it has taken me time, and I've gotten better, and I still got more to do. But being in this space of like, I used to internalize that so much of like, I never want a woman to make an investment and feel bad that they invested in me. So I'm going to like do all of the things that I can do to make sure they never feel that way. And so that could be my perception of like, I failed and I did this wrong versus like, no. And so where I got to and where I'm at now with it is being in this space of like, I learned what it felt like to make an investment that wasn't aligned and where I did it from a disempowered space. And that helped me in how I wanted to show up. And also it transformed even a deeper element of my messaging work where I like, you know, working with clients and helping them make sales and do all this was great. But when I really looked at who I love to work with, it was women who were doing this from a place of purpose and impact, and they didn't want just any client. So in the beginning, it was like, oh, go to Kira for sales work and she's going to help you and you're going to hit these big numbers. And that was cool, but I felt like some heart was missing in some of the women that I was working with. And so I realized, no, I have to work with all heart-centered women who truly care about their people and they want to show up for them. And that transformed me even coming up with, we need to make sure you have pre-selling and pre-qualification strategies in your messaging so that you're not just calling in any and everybody off the street who just can pay you, you're calling in aligned clients. So my point is, me being able to process through that one situation, I could have stayed, because I definitely for a couple months, like it was like end of 2017, so into 2018, I definitely for a couple months was like, oh my God, I failed. I invested all this money. I did this. I'm bad. Who would ever want to work with me? Look at the stupid decision that I made. And then it was like transforming that to, one, that wasn't the case. It was opportunities for me to learn, well, why did you invest in those women, right? What did you look up to from them that you didn't see within yourself? Why didn't you trust yourself? So all that internal stuff. And because I did that, it allowed me to see, oh, so this is what's important in my programs, or here's an element that's really important that I add into my messaging, etc. So my point is identity. When we don't shift our perception of the stories, like you're saying, I feel like we attach things to our identity that say, I'm a bad coach. I'm not an expert. I'm not good at that. I failed at this or that. So then when we go to try to sell a premium offer for something, we're like, yes, I'm selling it. I got my sticky note. It's $10,000. It's $5,000, whatever. But internally, because the identity shift hasn't happened, you're in this like, yes, I'm selling this. Am I really? Yes, I'm selling this, but I don't know if I'm really great at doing it. Like there's these internal like stories that you attach to your identity if you haven't done the work to shift your perception of certain stories, because otherwise you're like, yes, I'm selling it over here, but you're really not, like, you don't have this like true deep, not confidence, but conviction with like owning the thing. So that's what I thought about when you said perception, connecting that to identity. How do you see identity come into play between mindset and messaging?
Ditto everything that you just said. But no, I think identity, the words that were coming to my mind was I am. I am. Who am I? Who do I say I am? Who does God say I am? Right. And again, those stories, they're things that we attach to ourselves. A perception of this story then affects how I show up. But if I shift that perspective of that story, then I can show up in a different capacity. So something I heard as you were saying is like your education, your training, your expertise, it's not going to trump your internal perception of yourself, right? Some of us are trying to hold on to that, oh, I've got all this training, I've got all the certifications, the degrees, all the stuff. And it's like, uh-oh, but it's not enough. It's not going to be enough because there has to be this level of self-esteem, something that I've learned about self-esteem. And it is this thing about, do they like me? Right? Self-worth, I think, is, am I enough? So some of us will walk around, we feel worthy because I got the education, I did all the steps.
Yeah.
But then the self-esteem is, do they like me? That people-pleasing part where I have to serve at a higher capacity and I can't let people down and blah, 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 or even that perfectionism piece comes in because I can't look bad because I have to make sure people like me. All that is rooted in that identity piece. But when we know who we are and we're okay to make mistakes. Like I sent out an email just last week. And the part where you're supposed to put like the first name, I put the wrong brackets in. So everybody on my email list
Got hey
got
first
first
name.
name. Oh, girl, and I was extra in that email. I don't put first name in there 3 times, at the beginning, the middle, like I'm talking to them, and I didn't even notice it that it didn't go out right. And one of the ladies on my list replied to my email. She's like, "Oh, Justina, you made a mistake. You might want to fix that." And in the past, it would have been a trigger because there was this internal piece in my identity that was there's something wrong with me. I'm wrong. A lot of that can come from, if you look between the ages of 0 and 8, that is a time frame where we see the people in our lives as caregivers. We almost see them as God. So we take on a lot. It's a heavier time frame. So that's just a little tip for you to go back 0 to 8, go back in that time, because the stuff lands heavier then. But that internal, I'm always wrong, I'm done something wrong, it would trigger me and my body would go out of whack, But when I got that email, I was calm.
Yeah.
I was like, my brain was like, girl, we can't fix that.
Nothing I can do about it.
There's nothing we can do about that now. But instantly, I was able to take her reply to my email and I shifted this perspective and I shifted the narrative. And I said, look at that. My mistake created connection with someone on my list. And guess what I went and did? I wrote an email about it. I made some content from my mistake that was empowering and uplifting, right? But if I was still in this space of where I get triggered when I make mistakes, I would not have had the capacity to create empowering content that would go out and inspire someone, because I'm not creating from a whole place. Yeah. So
oh gosh, so many things. First off, I feel the same way about the typos. I'm like, listen, you should expect that there is a typo in myself, even though I'm the messaging queen. But I know through that typo, you still felt an emotion. Something came up, so it did its job. And the people who really have something to say, just move them on aside. They're not our ideal client. Like my client is over here, like I'm looking to make my next $10,000. I am not sitting here spending my time to tell you about the 3 typos you had in your email. So, perception. But I love what you said. So towards the end, everything you said, but towards the end, you said how you took that experience and you turned it into content. So that again is when we talk about the connection point between the marketing, the mindset, and the messaging, you being able to go through something today that has happened for you, be able to process it, have the mindset tools, right, to do the work you have to do with you, and then go into, from a messaging standpoint, I have this clarity around who my client is. I believe my client would experience the same thing that I experienced, or I believe there's some takeaway, not only for me, but also for my client, and you being able to create content for that. And then you being able to include that into your marketing plan for the next 30 days or whatever marketing plan you have coming up. Like those things go together. And when we haven't talked about embodiment, but I'm all about helping women step into this embodiment of their next level message. I can't help you embody what isn't there. If you haven't done the work to really sit with these stories and shift your perception with these stories and shift this perception for you as an expert, because that's a big thing, right? For me for us, right? Working with high value expert women, that's what I call them, women who have a high value level of expertise and experience and knowledge. That's internal within you. I used to say, like with an employee, it was easy to get a paycheck because somebody else's name was on it. But when it's your business, it's your name. And you said, who am I? You said, who am I through God? When it's your business and it's a heart-centered business, it's a purpose-driven business. I know you say soul-aligned business, whatever terms y'all want to use. When it's something that is literally like, this is in me. I joke around, I've been coaching since I was 7, right? Like, Justina, like, you have been going way deep into all of these things before you ever got your bachelor's and master's and all your certifications. Justina's certified down, y'all. Okay. So, and educated down. So, like, before we were doing any of those things, like, these were things that were a part of us. And so to me, like, to sit and to find, I get to make a business out of like what I'm great at. Or even Alicia loves us. She's she's the third part of our M3 on the marketing side. She loves to speak. I love to speak. All three of us love to speak. We can be in Voxer, y'all, all day. We have literally had to, we are sleeping, go to sleep now. But my point is,
Yes.
us being able to tap into our own strengths and those natural gifts that we've always had within us, when you really start to do the work to see those strengths and no longer question them and no longer keep the perception of them that is like a negative view, but instead see the power of them, then you're in a mindset to go, ooh, so how do I turn that into an offer? So how do I make that a VIP package? So how do I create a workshop out of that? What kind of post do I create out of that? But like you were saying, if you hadn't done that work, you would have sat with, oh my God, she's judging me. They're all going to judge me. If she thought that, 5,000 other people thought that. I am never sending out an email again. Her and your wallet and your money. And it's like, there's like 100 other people on the list who are ready to work with you, who are ready to pay you right now, who don't care about your typos, and you're about to stop showing up for them. Like, why are we, sorry, that's my alarm. Why are we doing that? So embodiment, identity, perception. Oh, so good.
There's levels to this too, though, because there is the, like, you just retreat, right? When there's a mistake, there's something where you feel like you failed, or there's something you feel like you've messed up. When we're pressing on our perfectionism button, you can retreat, or you can react. That's another piece too, right? You're at least you're doing something, but the reaction that you came up with was to cover your basis, or to like cover the areas or mistakes that you made. Or you can truly shift into this place of empowerment where you're responding from empowerment. So there was other options. I could have sent out an email saying, oh, I'm so sorry, or please forgive me, and be apologetic. That's a whole nother thing, right? But where is the, like, authority, I know who I am, even when I make mistakes. I know who I am, even if there was a client who wasn't happy with my services, even if this person wants a refund, even if there was a miscommunication. What type of leader are you going to be, right? So I do think this identity piece, it is us identifying ourselves through our values, through our desires, and not just our titles, not just our accomplishments, not just our wins, so to speak. It is so much deeper in our character and what we stand for when it comes to our identity. So yeah.
I love that. And imagine the power of taking everything you just said, and then you infuse that, for those listening, into your next level message. You infuse that into your next level marketing strategy. And with the deeper mindset work that Justina's talking about, it's not just for your business. It's so much more, right? Like, how are you going to show up in your relationships? How are you going to show up in how you communicate with your children? How are you going to show up in how you see yourself? Like, if you're on a like health journey or whatever that might look like. So that's what I really love about this work. And even like with messaging, yes, we're talking about your messaging to make money, but I have had clients who've come to me like, Kira, this is how I express myself in my home and with my partner in a way that I never gave myself permission to express myself before. Or with the marketing part. Yes, it's marketing with Alicia to elevate your sales and your lead generation and all those good things, but it's also a level of visibility. Isn't just marketing for your business. Visibility is, I don't allow myself to be seen in my family. I say yes to everything. Priority. Making and boundaries.
Priority.
Boundaries, priorities, like permission on, you know what? I authentically show up in my marketing So do I then unauthentically show up in my house? No, I'm going to show up more authentically in my house, in my relationship with my family. I'm going to create the boundaries. I'm going to say no to the things. So all of this is connected, and it's so much more than just a business. And so that's what I'm so excited, like, to watch the women that we have done hot seats with and we get to coach together, the power of all of the things that we're talking about. And I wanted to say this. So you said we can retreat, or we can react, or we can respond. And we're just going to keep going with the REs, because when you join the revenue,
planned.
it was not planned, y'all. This is just what happens. You got the mindset, then the messaging. Oh, I see this. So I'm just going to keep going with the REs. So yes, if you are really resonating with what we're sharing, right? In summary, talking about the power of you doing the healing work through certain stories that you have experienced, through certain traumas, and understanding the element for you to grow through that, and how that's going to support you as a person, as a human being, as a CEO. And when you're doing that healing, how you then get to show up as a CEO in your marketing, in your messaging, in your content. And not, yes, it's about making money, but it's because of the level of connection you having that with yourself allows you to have with your client, getting that level of client intimacy. And so now you're able to elevate the types of quality, the types and the quality, excuse me, of clients that you bring in. You're able to elevate the type of content and the quality of content that you put out. And you're also able to transition the type of marketing you put out, right? Because right now, if you're feeling like I need to follow these 3,000 strategies over here, they're pulling you in a million different directions. Instead, what Justina just talked about was, who am I? Who am I through God? And there's so many things I know Alicia's bringing into play with your marketing, as far as what's your power platform? What's your, like I always talk about too, what's your go-to visibility method and format, right? Are you a person who talks? So then why are you worrying about all these written pieces of content? If you're a person who writes, why are you so focused on video content? You're stumbling over your words. You got to do 20,000 takes. Do the thing that works best for you, but make a systematic strategy behind it, which is something that Alicia will be going more into inside the program. So I just wanted to say, in addition to you retreating and reacting and responding, when you join the Revenue Reboot, right? When you join Call to Thrive, it's about you being able to, I'm going to add a new realign into your authenticity and into your authority. If you hear anything that we're talking about, you have a next level of what you want to be seen as, right? A next level of your expertise, a next level of your brand, next level of your money. That's going to require you, if you want a sustainable business. Now, if you want to keep faking it till you make it, and alignment and authenticity don't mean anything to you, do it. But I think you've been doing that up until now. That's why you're stressed out. That's why you're burnt out. It's really easy to get burnt out when you're doing misalignment misaligned things. You cannot sustain what's not aligned. So we're going to invite you to realign into your authority with your next level message and marketing strategy, realign into your authenticity with your next level mindset work that's going to help you dive into the subconscious areas, right? So that together, all those things work so that you can thrive how you truly desire and how you deserve, how you divinely were called to by God. So we definitely want to invite you. If you want to work with us, you'll see somewhere around this video, the links. Justina, what would you add? Anything else before we wrap up today?
Yes, I'm just so excited that the three of us are coming together. You know, we have served our clients well individually. We have recommended clients to each other. We have all utilized each other's services as well, so we can authentically recommend, right? So this just divine inspiration for us to come together is going to be just a beautiful treat for the women that say yes to themselves. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yay. We're excited. So we can't wait to welcome you inside of the program. Make sure you hit the link somewhere around this video to go ahead and join us. Definitely check out the VIP option, because in addition to the group option where you'll have calls with Justina on mindset, you'll have calls with me on your messaging, you'll have calls with Alicia on your marketing, you also will have private one-on-one calls outside of the group calls with each of us. And you also get a private coaching chat channel where literally you get to drop, if you're dropping one question, so literally it could be, hey, I have a launch coming up. Okay, Justina, where's your mindset at with this launch? Let's go through anything there. Kira, okay, what's the messaging that we're using for this launch? Here's how I feel that we need to connect with your client, position your offer, etc. inside of your launch. Alicia, what's the overall marketing plan for the launch? What does it look like? All the logistics, all the operational components, all the pieces, because a launch is a big moving piece. So I see so many times you go into programs where they just answer the one question and that's it, but you're getting the same question answered from 3 different angles so that you have a holistic approach. Because I see so many times, I'm going to stick with the launch example, Women go into their launch, they have the messaging and they have the marketing, but you know what's missing? The embodiment. So you can have 30 posts scheduled and a content, calendar and all these things. But if the embodiment isn't there because there's some identity stuff underlying, marketing and messaging isn't necessarily going to fix that. You will get some clients from it. Don't get me wrong. But that next level is this, or it could be vice versa. You feel super confident. You've gotten through all the stories. You're showing up. You're doing all the things. You're going to get some clients from that just energetically because your energy is there and they're magnetized and they're captivated. But you could have more. You could double those conversions if you did have the strategy from a messaging and marketing standpoint. So the two go together. So you will have a private coaching chat where you're literally getting coaching from all three of us, right? It's the three of us and you in your chat, and we're answering questions, and you have access to that throughout the program.
Oh, I hope that just blessed you. I know that I enjoyed that conversation with Justina, and I love us being able to go deeper with clients on that work. And there's some other resources that we have here on the channel to support you. I have a video where I talk about the traits of six-figure women. I also have a video where I talk about the mindset around comparison and how to shift through that. I also have a video where I talk about the mindset around next level clients and any imposter stuff that you see coming up. Those are some of the huge stories that I see for a lot of women that come up for them. I have literally gone through about 2,000 women that I've worked with over the last 10 years and been able to identify 6 key pillars of different mindset things that come up for women. These visibility stories and these stories around our worth with even selling and things like that tend to come up for women. So definitely check out some of those videos to help you. We'll make sure we put them in the description below. Because the fact is, this journey is not about stripping you away from, who you truly are and trying to be someone different, thinking you need to be something else to have what it is that you truly desire and you deserve. But instead, it's about stripping these stories that you've held on to, stories that were never yours to carry. And it's time to let them go. Don't you feel the freedom in that? Just let them go, sis. Let them go, sis. Okay. Okay, we getting excited. But the freedom that you feel in your body when you start to let these things go and you stop holding on to stories that were never meant to be yours in the first place. They were taught to you, they were told to you, and it was things to kind of keep you in a certain box. But you can break free of that, and you deserve to, and you're ready. You're so ready. Speaking of being ready, if you are watching this and you're like, I am ready to take the next step, I'm ready to take action. I don't just want to feel empowered in this conversation, but I actually want to get support. I know that I'm a high value expert woman. I know that I have expertise, that I know I'm not positioning and charging what I really know I could be charging and should be charging. And I'm ready to really amplify my visibility and my sales and my brand, my impact to the next level. As you do this work to step through, these different stories, you now are like, okay, how do I start to transition these stories into insert my 6-figure storytelling strategies into your content? Being able to use these stories to now connect and relate to your audience, to who it is that truly is meant to be working with you. That's one of my secrets to being able to truly call in pre-sold and empowered clients who come ready to work with us, because they've built this rapport with us, even if they haven't actually got on a call with us, through our content, right? They've been able to experience us, or through your events, or different ways that they've been able to consume and learn from you, whether they met you 5 minutes ago or they met you 5 months ago or 5 years ago. I have worked with clients in some of my packages, 4 and 5 figure packages, mind you, who literally I met in 5, 10, 20, 30 minutes. But because of the depth I'm able to go when I'm sharing my stories with them, whether it's in a one-on-one conversation or in my YouTube videos just like this, or when I'm on stage, women come to me after events like, Kira, oh my God, I can't believe you said this. Or I can't even think about emails that I've sent to my list where they literally knew very specific things, even down to this car that I bought one year. And they were like, oh my God, I bought that same exact car, right? And I remember putting a picture with a red bow on it. It's these moments that allow you to truly start to differentiate yourself, not just from a level of your expertise, where you're positioning yourself with your signature method, but you're actually being able to position yourself in a way that allows you to connect. And I want to tell you, you can't trump that. Maya Angelou says this. I have a next level messaging workbook where I have this in there as well. People will never forget how you made them feel. They might forget what you say, right? They might even forget kind of what you do, but they will never forget how you make them feel. When people are being able to read through your stories, the stories that you want to overcome, that you have overcome, the stories that you're going to understand with my 6-figure sales strategy, storytelling sales strategy, how to infuse that into your content, how to leverage that in your webinar. I literally was just working on this with a client. She actually started, which is the best next step for you to take, with booking out a 30-minute strategy session with me. Go ahead and hit the link in the description to grab yours. We started going through elements of her story and started infusing them into her signature webinar. She was able to 3x. So she was able to triple the conversions that she got from her webinar. And a part of that, there's a couple things we did, but one of them was the 6-figure sales, storytelling, sales messaging strategies that we put in, being able to tell the story in a way that allows you to show up powerful and not feel disempowered from it, not feel like vulnerable and like, oh my God, they're not going to want to pay me. They're not going to see me as an expert, but actually in an authority of like, yes, here's what I did. And here's maybe where I made a mistake, or here's, this thing or that thing that I did. And here's what happened when I use my, method, or when I use my strategy, or when I use my XYZ. So being able to understand the art and science behind bringing in the strategy behind the story, but the storytelling, the heart pieces, because you truly want to connect with your people. So if you want us to start diving into that right now, like if you're like, Kira, I don't want none of that stuff, let's talk right now. Like I'm talking in the next couple of days, because we do have some sessions open. Go ahead and grab the link in the description below so that you can set up a 30-minute session between you and I. We can talk about the 6-figure storytelling strategies. Plus, I'm going to want to do some audits on your messaging, your current offer and how you're positioning it, the audience for it, the pricing of it, and just your overall messaging and positioning plan for it, so that we can amp it up so that you can be able to triple your sales now, not later. So go ahead and grab that link inside of the description. I cannot wait to have my call with you. And if you get there and they're all booked out, sis, you got to move a little faster, but there are some now. So go ahead and grab them. Okay. In the description below, we'll put that link. And make sure you share this video with a biz bestie, a mastermind sister, an accountability buddy who you know could really use it. And until next time, my love, sending you lots of love, shine, and success in life, business, and everything in between. Bye, y'all.